Your name and age.
Hey, John, 34.
And John, what do you do?
I'm a field marketing manager.
And why did you end up popping your balloon?
So it was actually the yoga for me. I used to be in the New Age before Jesus saved me, and it's just a false spirit. And I know you seem happy, but I was in that, and I wasn't happy deep down inside. And I know at the end of the day, I just want to say Jesus loves you. He wants a relationship with you, but there's a false spirit there.
She's just smiling too. She's just looking like, what? There's just a false spirit there. It's just the yoga for me. Hold on, maybe y'all didn't hear it. Watch this.
Me, I used to be in the New Age before Jesus saved me, and it's just a field marketing manager.
And why did you end up popping your balloon?
So it was actually the yoga for me. I used to be in the New Age before Jesus saved me, and it's just a false spirit. And I know you seem happy, but I was in that, and I wasn't happy deep down inside. And
who the fuck are you? I was in that, and I wasn't happy deep down inside. So now I gotta let me tell you.
Let me tell you, you're happy right now is fake.
What?
Your fake is actually happy. You're really not happy.
God damn.
I know at the end of the day, I just want to say Jesus loves you. He wants a relationship with you, but there's a false spirit there. It's a Kundalini spirit. And
a Kundalini spirit. He is so silly.
A Kundalini spirit. Damn. Just for him to know the word, I was like, all right, you in the game, baby.
There's a Kundalini spirit there. I ain't never heard that before.
What's up, y'all? What's the deal, man? Dream and D-Ray Wise here for another one. Yeah, hey, look. Today we're talking about religion, spirituality, and relationships. Do they mix? Can you be in different sides of it? We got the answers. Y'all leave questions.
Yeah, that's why I popped. I feel for you. I've been there. I've been in the New Age before. Yoga is you're bowing down to false gods. Don't know if you know that, but I'm saying this because I care about you. But yeah, that's why I popped.
A response for that?
Oh, thank you so much. I love Jesus as well.
He says, a lot of people honor him with their mouths, but they're far from him. And that's kind of like the situation. A lot of people say that they fear God, they love Jesus, but then their life doesn't actually show it. And
my life does show it.
Okay.
Yeah, my life
well, you said you do yoga. Jesus definitely wasn't doing yoga, girl. Okay.
Jesus definitely wasn't doing yoga, girl.
All right. Now, is he someone that's your type?
He is someone we can go to church.
Wait, what was wrong with yoga though? Let's figure out that real quick.
Well, people do actually believe that. I remember when I was teaching in high school. Remember, I had that yoga lesson, and I had this Pentecostal, deeply religious teenager who basically came up to me during the lesson and was like, "I can't do yoga," and it ended up being a whole thing because she was making it religious, and I was like, "This has nothing to do with religion, right?" I was teaching yoga as a method of stress relief, right? That's what the lesson was. The lesson was on you can use things like stretching and breathing for relieving stress. It became such a big deal. Throughout the entire yoga lesson, this little girl had to be out of the class. Like she couldn't even be in the gym because they were so religious and so opposed to yoga. So you do have religious people who really believe that when you are doing yoga, you are praying and bowing down to a false god.
Well, on the reverse side of that, I remember when we used to do the Christmas Day pageants and, the Christmas Day celebration and stuff like that, there was kids. They were mainly Jehovah's Witnesses that had to go to other places when the whole school was in there for the Christmas celebration just because they didn't, necessarily follow that rhetoric. Mm-hmm. So, it is a thing where these strong belief systems don't have a ability to observe because they think they're going to absorb.
Yes, that is major.
Yeah, let's keep running.
Together. Definitely. Please let me know where your church home is.
About her, though.
Thank you.
Because I've seen her on YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this girl right here literally is one of our subscribers, right? But she also has her own YouTube page that I thought was a spiritually led kind of YouTube page where it dibbled and dabbled in spirituality, but mostly she was talking about being child free. Mostly she was talking about not having a man and not being in a relationship, but it was rooted in like spirituality. So that's interesting for her to be on this show and be like, I love Jesus. And not saying that you can't be spiritual and love Jesus. You know, I don't know how you know, show up in your relationship, but I think that that's kind of funny. Her talking about, yeah, we can go to church together. It's like,
yeah, she probably just playing to the energy, playing to the crowd, playing to the people. Like, yeah,
probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, what are you looking for in a man?
I like a man that's athletic, or at least like keeps himself up in the gym. I like someone who is health conscious. I also like a man who is family oriented and someone who is disciplined and dedicated. You know, I also like a man who's funny. I love to laugh, and I like someone who's musically inclined as well.
All right. And what are some of your deal breakers?
I don't like a heavy smoker. I also don't like a heavy drinker, like no cigarettes, no, you know, heavy alcohol consumption. I prefer a man not to have kids.
Okay.
And I also don't prefer someone shorter than me.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
John 34.
And John, why did you end up popping your balloon?
It just seems like you're leaning with lustful things, like you want facial hair, you want tall height type thing, and I feel like that's very worldly to me. I'm a child of God, and I can tell, you know, Jesus has given me discernment to tell when somebody's leading with their flesh or if they're leading with their actual heart, and it just seems like your heart posture is not really there for finding a man of God.
And is he someone that's your type?
Girl, no.
Yeah, why not?
His hair, I don't like his haircut, and I think it looks like you filled in your eyebrows a little bit. I don't prefer a man that wears makeup.
Okay. Well, I'm not wearing makeup, and again, you're leading with your flesh, and you're trying to get a reaction. I don't know if you're trying to go viral or anything, but I'm here for actual love. It's called pop your balloon or find love, and it seems you're trying to find lust. So other men of God have popped you because
terrible.
Okay, have a blessing.
God, shout out to the guy.
It looks like you're trying to find lust.
Hey, look, you know, it's an interesting dynamic, and we're going to talk about it. I want to read this part just because you can see the guy. He kind of naive in absolutely anything. I'm pretty sure he never really partaked in religious or in spiritual system understanding, just based off of his vernacular and the way his demeanor is. You feel me? Because if he did, he had to have got shooken so hard that he just went right back to Jesus and everything was Jesus. And that could be a thing, but for some reason, I think he was just lying and just saying, I dibbled and dabbled, when he really just looked into it and then got out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But never really put his whole body in the water. What's up, y'all? What's the deal? Man, appreciate that, K. Smith. What's up, Modest Moore? What's up? Yes, sir. Hey, y'all leave questions. Y'all let us know what y'all think about this particular topic. I want to read something on this particular dude right now, just based off of what I'm hearing from him. And this is called, read what they say.
The Whore and the Priest.
The Whore and the Priest. You know I can't make it up. I'm telling you what it is. A Hindu priest lived across the street from a prostitute. Each day he was going to do his prayers and meditation, he would see men coming and going from the prostitute's room. He would see the woman herself greeting them or bidding them farewell. Each day the priest would imagine and ponder the shameful acts that were committed in the whore's room, and his heart would fill with strong disapproval of the woman's immorality. Or immorality. There you go. Thank you for helping me, babe. You know, you got to help me and our son. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Each day, the prostitute would see the priest at his spiritual practices. She would think how beautiful it must be to be so pure, to spend one time in prayers and meditation. But she would sigh, "It is my lot to be a whore. My mother was a whore, and my daughter will be one too. Such are the ways of this land. So now y'all hear the backstory, y'all get it. The priest was looking at the whore like, nigga, you just doing all kind of lustful, what does dude say? Lustful things.
Eating with your flesh, yeah.
Then the whore looking at him like, oh wow, what an honorable, humble, majestic thing he's doing. The priest and the whore died on the same day and stood before judgment together.
Wow.
Much to his astonishment, the priest was condemned for his wickedness. But he protested. My life has been one of purity. I have spent my days in prayer and meditation. Yes, said judgment, but while your body was engaged in those holy actions, your heart was consumed with vicious judgments, and your soul was ravished by your lustful imagination. This nigga thinking about them girls doing that yoga.
Right. He the one with the lustful imagination.
They're like, nah, yoga? You're doing yoga, girl? Bitch, that's a lustful ass shit. That nigga off the chain. What? The whore was commended. The whore was commended for her purity. I do not understand, she said. For all my life, I have sold my body to every man who has had that price. Your life circumstances placed you in a whorehouse. You were born there, and it was beyond your strength to do otherwise. But while your body was performing unworthy acts, your heart was always pure and forever fixed in contemplation of the purity of the holy man's prayer and meditation. Let me get my sound effects right. You know how dream get. You know how it go. Message. So I want the family to understand to the core, right? Like, it's based off of your heart, and that judgment aspect, like this dude is doing, puts you in a particular state of, basically heartbrokenness, basically not being able to, be in a loving spirit. Because when you see these religious people that have a vicious and vitriol attack over moralism, you got to step back and look at them as, people that don't really have the gumption or the awareness to find peace and love in the everyday man. Nobody's not perfect. This world wasn't made perfect. This is chaos. Out of chaos comes order. Chaos is just the potential energy we're all living in. So essentially, for somebody to judge somebody because they're, trying their best or doing what they do, hey, shame on you. What's the deal, family? What's the deal? We are here. We are here. Dreams and desires. Dreams and desires. We're going to play a little bit more of this clip so you can see how lustful this particular man is. But more than that, we want to dive into the topic: can different spiritual systems unite in relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. Wish you would have titled this differently, talking about if you are a spiritual woman in a relationship with a religious man, then this is for you. That's kind of out there for the people that are in our community. But more than just it being a spiritual woman in a relationship with a religious man, the main idea for today is, can people with different beliefs coexist in a healthy way?
Well, you know what it was? Like, a lot of our consultations is always a spiritual woman dealing with a religious man, just like this man right here. And essentially,
probably not like that man right there.
Well, probably not like him.
But could be religious in their thinking, because what religious really means is dogma. What religion really means is being fixed on a certain way of doing things. So like, I know women who are in relationships with men who are on some sort of spiritual path, whether it be like Ifa or like Hebrew Israelite or all of these different things, but they're still locked down into that. Right. So religion is not just looking at Christianity. It could be anything that a person is like, you know, their position is like this guy. Like it's how they think about it, how they feel about it, and that's just what it is.
Right. They don't have the ability to think outside of the box, or just to be able to understand, just to be able to hear, just to be able to like listen intentively. You feel me? They're more in the space of saying, no, it gotta be this, right? They don't want to hear nothing else because of the programming, the subconscious programming, and the built-in background that they have. It kind of just establishes, you know, dominion over their mind.
I mean, that's what we also see. Did y'all get a chance to see that 1 versus 21? They kept on putting New Ager on the thing, like this guy just said, talking about it used to be a part of the New Age. I don't even know who actually, I don't know any spiritual people that actually says, I am into New Age. I am a New Ager, right? But we see in that, the one New Age or spiritualist, Jasmine Garden versus 20 Christians. When in any type of connection with a certain type of religious person, it is hard to break through that barrier and have a healthy conversation, right? Because the mind cannot, you know, expand. In religion, you're taught lean not on your own understanding. In religion, you're taught it's just this or it's just that. There is no in between, right? There is no space to question, to consider, to deep dive, right? To inquire. It's just black or white. And I think that's what is hard for people to be in relationship with. Whether a person claims to be spiritual or connected to a certain religion, that is difficult to relate with. A person who doesn't have a mind that is open and expansive, or with a person who doesn't allow you to, you know, express your thoughts or your feelings and actually hold space for them. So,
right. And that just comes down just to consciousness. That's all consciousness actually is. See, a lot of times we like to stick consciousness to an idea of getting out of religion. But, you know, you can still per se be conscious and believe in something outside of yourself. Now, the level of consciousness that you have might be stagnant, but essentially, you know what I'm saying, you could create a magical entity in the form of a Jesus, Allah, a Mickey Mouse, and essentially you can still attach that as your higher self. So, you know, it is a possibility that you still are conscious and aware in that way. The bigger idea is, can you be able to listen and not judge with an open ear and an open heart?
Yeah.
And like this dude is portraying, you know what I'm saying, he just falling real short and victim to, I'm standing with Jesus. And like he's the type of dude that'll say, yeah, Jesus is white. Straight up.
Let's see, keep going.
Okay.
Thank you. So we have 3 unpopped balloons. Go ahead and ask our remaining men a question.
Okay, so first, how old are you guys? What do you guys do? And then where do you guys reside?
Okay.
Hey, I'm John.
Hello.
I'm 34 and I live here in Arizona, and I'm a field marketing manager, and I'm actually up for a promotion where I have to decide if I'm going to do a tour for a year because I do road shows. So I manage those.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay, so health and fitness is important to me. So how do you take care of yourself?
Yeah, so I'm an all organic guy. I'm kind of picky about it. I just love real food, real people. Also, I want to say that when you walked out, you just had a glow about you. And so, yeah.
Thank you.
So, and then other than that, I just got a trainer a month and a half ago. He's definitely been kicking my butt because I'm not a perfect, like what I want to be or what God has designed me to be. And he's really kicking my butt, and he's great at it because I love being pushed to the limit. And shout out to Camille, where I go 2 times a week. So it's really training me to be disciplined more, even just saying what I just said to you,
Yeah.
if it were to be like my type,
He is talking a lot.
that's probably one of the things that I would look for. Somebody that walks out and they have a glow to them, and it's hard to explain because it's spiritual. So.
Mm.
Okay, so religious people.
This
I don't
guy.
want to sound cruel, but religious people do have such an ego to where they can't read the room, where they're not able to observe. I know it sounds funny. I'm just being honest. They can't read, like my brother. Everything is centered on him, no matter what. It's about me. It's about my business, about what I got going on. Fuck what y'all talking about. And it's about Jesus too. So these religious people do have a certain vernacular that speaks, them strong religious people like him, they have a vernacular that speaks to this is it. This is all about me, right? Nothing else. Fuck what you talking about. If you say anything else, I'm ending the conversation. Did you mention Jesus today? Did you pray today? You know what I'm saying? That kind of energy. And we have to observe that, especially in relationships. Like in relationships, we need to be able to observe, is this nigga I'm fucking with conscious? Is this guy that I'm fucking with conscious? Does he have the ability to relate? Does he have the ability to build, to grow, to understand, to at least understand, right? Like, that's all you can ask for. Somebody can still be religious. Can they understand? Can they compromise? Can they take bits and pieces of it, right? I remember one of my homeboys, he was dealing with a really, really strong religious girl. She was a PK kid. And essentially, she was, really gung-ho, read the Bible. And she was kind of not aware, just like this dude. Absolutely not aware, absolutely nothing. And my partner, he kind of conscious, kind of aware, whatever, in his bag, doing his thing. And he wasn't with none of that Christianity shit, none of that church, none of that, right? And essentially, he used to tell me, like, nigga, this girl would be cosplaying. What you mean by that, Dream? Well, shit. We fornicating. She doing all the sexual favors and all the sexual deviant stuff right after church. And her dad, just the crazy stories he used to tell me. I used to be like, wow, there are people out there like that. And he would be like, yeah, she just wearing a mask. And essentially in the mask that she's wearing, she's just trying to make it seem like she's holier than thou, but really she's a Satanist.
That's funny. I think so many people are just so afraid to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just so afraid to be free. And I will tell y'all, when Dream and I first got together, I was coming out of religion. I had stopped going to church just because I literally had one of my first supernatural experiences in a church that I was like, okay, this is actually scary, right? I was at this very well-known church here in Houston. This church is really like a club. It ain't even like a church. Like, everybody that's there is there looking for a man or looking for a woman, or you're trying to date, higher dimension.
Oh,
yes,
God,
that's correct.
damn.
If you in Houston, you probably done heard of this church before, because it is like a social hour on a Sunday. It's like Sunday brunch. But I remember going there one time for a Bible study. It was a Wednesday Bible study. And they're all praising and worshiping. And I felt this kind of negative, I don't even want to say negative, but I felt this dark energy coming to the place that felt very vampiric. And it kind of shocked me. I was kind of like, what am I experiencing here? And so that always sat with me, right? That there can be some dark, heavy energies in the church. And so we started dating and talking more. And I started to kind of talk to you how I was in this process of kind of deconstructing, analyzing, and trying to reestablish what my beliefs were. And you totally shocked my nervous system. If a Christian was listening to this right now, they would like shame you for this. But you played the movie for me, or the documentary Zeitgeist, was it called? We watched this Zeitgeist. I remember we looked at it on a laptop. I think we looked at it on YouTube. And when I listened to it, it like my nervous system just started shaking and jittering or whatever. But that was not the first time that happened. Where I was hearing something and my nervous system was like almost being set free or activated. I was hearing something that was truth, but it was scary for me to hear. It was scary for me to receive because my nervous system had been programmed so much with God is this, Jesus is this, Christianity this, Christianity that. So when I see people like this guy, or when I see people who are so closed-minded, I get it, because there is a very deep fear to no longer identify with something that is so deep, right? Like your spirituality, what you believe about life outside of this physical body is one of those things that people don't really want to have to look at. And so what I think helped you and I to connect as I was going through that deprogramming process was I didn't feel judged by you, right? I didn't feel like I had to abandon everything that I've learned in church. I didn't feel like you were trying to persuade me of anything. I also did not feel shame for my beliefs. So I think people can coexist with different beliefs as long as there's mutual respect there.
Yeah.
Right? As long as there's not, like this guy in the book, judging her actions, judging her beliefs, judging what he thinks of her, and not knowing that judgment is actually condemning himself. And so I think if people can have that level of openness, relationships with different beliefs can work.
Yeah, and that's good, babe. I remember I was kind of coming into consciousness. 16, I was reading that NLP book, and me and my partners would talk about different aspects of God. And I was kind of breaking out of that shell, if you will, but not fully there, based off of, you know what I'm saying, the programming was still thick and heavy. And essentially, you know, when I got to 18, 19, I started watching them Bobby Hemmett clips with my young guy, Lil B. And you know, I was in a whirlwind. I didn't know how to think, because one of the aspects of it was the relationship aspect. The pussy was coming from the Christian house. So then now all of a sudden you're in a conundrum.
You were okay, keep going.
18, 19, I'm in a conundrum. Damn. Vagina, you know what I'm saying, or do this whole kind of spiritual thing. And it wasn't really just the vagina, it was more so like you're battling against the masses versus this one person on YouTube, Bobby Hemmett, speaking and professing like none of this shit is real, right? So now all of a sudden your mind is playing tricks with you, and you're trying to figure out and understand, okay, what way to go. And for a long time, even 18, 19, 20, 21, I still didn't know which way to go. And that's why I think I started taking all them drugs, doing this, doing that, just because, just like you were saying, my nervous system was shot. It was getting reprogrammed. Like I had to literally drink and do drugs, drug my way out of that kind of mindset that I was in. Even though you know what I'm saying, like the people I'm fucking with and stuff is Jesus, 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 my whole recalibration is happening, and I have to choose truth versus the masses. So I think you're right, babe. It is a huge thing, especially when we're talking about relationships. It's like, it's tough because if you're just coming into spirituality and coming into a new way of thinking, how do you bring that to your particular mate to say, hey, look, I know you believe in this white sky daddy person, but I'm seeing new things that's actually debunking that. And I would like to have your opinion on it. And how do you feel about this, right? And if they're programmed heavenly enough, right, they're not going to be able to gain any, you know what I'm saying, any truth from it, because again, they're going to believe what they believe. No, that's not real. No, fuck it. I showed my brother that guy's video. Guess what he said? Oh, no, that shit ain't real. I took my brother to an Egyptian museum. No, this shit is all fake. What? It's in the damn museum.
Mm.
So, you know, it's an interesting dynamic when you are dealing with people that don't have the open mind to get out of that religion just because of fear, the fear of going to hell.
Yeah, I think it could be very challenging for people who have been in long-standing relationships. I think it's easier when the relationship is fresh. It's easier to say yes or no if this connection is actually going to work when you're having these very deep and real conversations about spirituality and religion. I think it's hardest for people who are in long-standing relationships. Like you've been with your wife, your husband, or your partner for so long, and now you're discovering this new thing called spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you actually truly have unconditional love, you can work through it. I've seen this happen with my grandparents. I've seen this happen with my mom and my stepdad. My mom used to be a very big time Christian. I'm talking about in the church. We had to go to church. That's just what it was, right? And then she got with my stepdad almost 16 years ago now. And he was more so into the Nation of Islam, also kind of spiritual, not really in no church, not really with the Jesus type of thing.
Also Christian now. He was going to church.
He was going to church?
Yeah, he was going to church.
He was going to church to support her.
Okay,
that's the thing.
Okay,
that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to church because she wanted to go to church,
mm-hmm.
right? But he had always had a more independent kind of perspective on spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Now my mother and him, they ain't been to church in years. In years they have not been to church. And I don't think that they share the same exact spiritual beliefs or the way that it has to be. I think they both believe in God. I think they both believe that there's this higher power that is moving through them, that is moving through life, that is supporting and sustaining them. And I think they are proof that relationships can work, even if you're coming into it from a different perspective, as long as there is mutual respect there. I appreciate my stepdad so much because when I was first coming out of Christianity myself, no influence by anyone else, just my own inner work, my own my own aha moments. I remember it was around Christmas time. And I was talking to my mom and my aunt and my cousin and just telling them that I truly believe like Jesus was a representation of who and what we are and what it is that we are meant to do, which is why we are told to live Christ-like lives, which is why we are told we are made in the image of God. I was telling them all of these things. These are my own revelations that I was having, right? And they shamed me. They scolded me. I mean, I cried in front of them, just being like, this is why I don't tell y'all stuff. This is why I don't tell y'all what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, because this is what y'all do. And my cousin even had to tell them, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong for talking to her like that just because she has a different belief.
Right.
So years prior, my mom was tearing my ass up for having a different perspective, but now she's more accepting, more embracing of the fact that we live a different type of lifestyle, a different spiritual practice, and different beliefs. So I think it's possible in our relationships to grow in respect for one another, though you may have different perspectives on spirituality, religion, who and what God is. I think the love that you have for the person has to supersede your condemnation or your religiosity.
Yeah, no, that's good, baby. That's good. That brings me to like my mom, right? She's super Christian, super all of that. But that unconditional love she has for me, she's listening to the YouTube videos.
She sure do be listening to the YouTube videos. Probably watching this one now.
Right now, yeah.
Facts.
She's seeing all the symbols and iconography. She can hear some of the messages that I'm saying. But you know, once you get to a certain age, you kind of be stuck in your ways. And you kind of just want to just let whatever you believe be that. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to just shift unless you're courageous enough to do that. So I don't falter. I don't, knock her for it. And I understand, right? It's a long battle. And, that whole motif of using Jesus as an anchor could got you through some tough times.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, because it is still you using your power over in your mind. You feel me? Creating an energy that creates a reality. So essentially, we got to understand to the core, like, that is a big thing. Now, when we're talking about relationships and we're trying to dive deeper into, mating with somebody or finding somebody or dating somebody, you have to be more open-minded than this nigga.
But I also think spiritual people who are spiritual, I think can sometimes want to convert people. And that's also an issue.
Oh, you're saying
right?
Spiritual people want to convert?
Yes, spiritual people be ready to tell somebody that they God is this and this is true and this is that. And I think that is symbolic of the religiosity that still dwells inside of so-called spiritual, so-called conscious people. Right? I think the real work, like Thick Face Black Heart said, the real work is making sure that your heart is pure. And anytime you're going out, trying to convert or trying to make someone believe what you believe, right? And especially doing it by way of fear, which is something that religiosity, specifically Christianity, teaches. I think when you're living in that perspective, it is hard to connect and love and build something with someone if in the back of their minds, they're actually trying to change you.
Right. Yeah.
Right? If in the back of their minds, they just waiting for the moment where you become who and what they want you to be. And I think that's not real love. That's not really grounded in authenticity. If you're going to love somebody, you got to love them for who they are right now.
It's so interesting. Like when we talk about the level of consciousness and awareness, I think it's bigger than just you knowing a lot of stuff and just you being able to observe the world. You have to be able to relate and see points of view. And just like we were saying, Thick Face Black Heart, that passage we read, not judge. You feel me? That's the hardest thing for a lot of people to do. Even spiritual people, they think they're conscious, but they still judge. Because again, the idea is all this information is free reign to transform you into a new. So you don't know what kind of information or gems you're going to get from this Christian brother or Christian sister that might give you some game on something that will unlock and unravel a whole new mind for you and also a whole new reality.
I went through a phase. I wouldn't even call it a phase. I would call it like maybe a necessary thing that needed to happen, where I was listening to two different Christian, what is the word? Why is the
Christian
word?
preachers. Yeah.
They weren't just preachers, they were prophets, Christian prophets.
Okay.
And I went through a phase of just listening to their work. And when I tell you, I received so much light, so much insight that supported my spiritual journey. Like, I truly believe God does show up in all of these different things, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Hindu, Muslim, New Age, whatever. There's something that we can take away from each of these things and apply in our own lives. And so not being locked down into this one way of thinking, like this is the only way that I can receive from God, is, I think, the shortcoming is a major thing, a major reason why relationships cannot work, if people only think that you can only access God in this one way.
Facts. Like it's folly to believe that you can't even listen to Christian music because they're speaking about Jesus. Like, nigga, that shit jam. Some of that shit jam. That Mary stuff. In the morning.
Hey.
I forgot.
You gotta know
it's
the
been
words.
a long time.
To break out the song and not know the words.
Boy, how'd it go, man? Come on, you can sing.
In the morning, you'll be all right. In the morning, the sun's gonna shine. No, because I didn't pick the song to start singing.
You don't remember the words either. Exactly.
I just know that part.
Exactly. You don't remember. Come on, sing me
Babe,
one.
I don't know the rest of the words.
No, sing me another Christian song.
I don't know which one to sing right now. You're gonna have to wait till something.
Let me see what else I got. Y'all know the Christian songs. Some of them things jam. What?
Absolutely.
Man.
And a lot of them, and that's the thing, a lot of them will actually unlock things for you that you need. Right? I'm grateful for my time in Christianity. I'm grateful for my grandmother, my great grandmother, my mother, because their prayers actually kept me safe and protected. Their belief actually, supported me up until now and beyond. Right?
Yeah, because you're talking about the ancestors, and that they are, right? They're in that space of still being able to transmute energy to you. So that's a real thing. Like, all this stuff we talk about in the aspect of looking at one of your family members' pictures to send them healing energy, right, through the mind. It's the same. It's all the same concepts. You're just doing it with an intent now. You kind of understand the mechanism you're using it in. So that's a big deal. One of the things I do want to speak about is, our main idea is, especially when we're talking about relationships, is that you must, if y'all are out, well, put in the chat how many of y'all are single. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all are single. And put a 2 in the chat if y'all are in relationships. And put a 2 in the chat if you're in a relationship with somebody in a different spiritual system. Put a 2 in the chat if you're in a relationship with somebody. I would love to hear from y'all, because
Absolutely.
Oh, Nicole came out quick. Oh, Michelle.
Look at all the people in relationships. I see y'all.
No, relationships with different spiritual.
Are these relationships with people who have different beliefs than you?
They're saying it's different people, and y'all leave y'all question. Y'all leave y'all feelings about that, and how do they react? Or just tell us, if you can, quickly, how do they feel about y'all's spiritual system? And then I'll be honest and try
Michelle says it's rough. Yeah. I think it takes it takes a lot of spiritual, mental, and emotional maturity to be in a relationship with someone who has a different spiritual belief system than you. Right? I'm proud. I think the way that I got here right now and having a more expansive viewpoint is because My father never went to church. Like on them weekends where he had us, on them weekends where it was his weekend, we weren't going to no church. This just wasn't happening. But when I was with my mom, every Sunday we was at church. I never seen my grandmother or my grandfather go to church. They were never religious growing up on my dad's side. So when you grow up seeing two sides of this, religion and then just this free flowing, it's all about being a good person, right? When you become a person like me who is able to find God anywhere, right? I love my grandmother. This happened sometime last year. My grandmother, her sister passed away. Nobody knew that she passed away for a few days. Somebody came to the house, found her dead on the floor. My grandmother had questions about this. Mind you, at this time, she was a fully practicing Jehovah's Witness. I mean, going out and doing her, whatever they do. I don't know what they call it specifically, but she was doing all of that.
Passing out pamphlets.
Passing out pamphlets. The beautiful Black lady knocking on the doors, passing out pamphlets. She was doing that. And I remember she came to Houston. She said, Desi, I want to talk to you about something. I said, what, Grandma? She said, what do you really believe about God? And I just kind of told her, I believe God shows up in a multitude of ways. I think religion is just one of the ways that we can connect to God or build some sort of practice to develop that relationship. But I think God shows up in a multitude of ways. And if you would lean in, if you would feel into it, if you would actually seek to connect to that sacred energy, you can find it. And my grandmother said, well, since my sister passed away, I've had so many questions about God. Like, why is God telling me, lean not on my own understanding? I'm trying to understand how my sister ended up dead in the house for 3 days by herself and nobody knew. I'm trying to understand that. I'm trying to understand what actually happened. But my pastor keeps telling me, forget about it. Let it go. You know what I mean? So that was one of those things where she was just like, and this is a woman that is in her 70s coming to a place of questioning God. And I thought that was so brave of her. And to even share with me, to be like, Desi, that's what she calls me. Desi, I got questions now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Grandma, that is totally understandable. You are well within your right to have those questions. And if God really loves you, you will not be condemned or damned, right? For asking those questions and wanting to know, wanting to understand. So I think in our relationships, if a person is able to be inquisitive, if a person is willing to understand and to ask questions, I think there's so much growth and so many connections you can find in that could help a relationship to be healthy, sustainable, and filled with love, right? It's wanting to know, wanting to inquire, and not letting the religion kind of block off all other aspects of your mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. My coach, one of my coach that I coach with or whatever, his wife died and he started questioning his religion crazy with me. And just because he kind of semi knew I was kind of spiritual and not really about that Jesus thing at all, he just started questioning it and, asking me different things and why and this and that. And one of the aspects that we got to understand, especially as spiritualists, is that, death is not a bad thing, right? It can be a bad thing in this physical thing. Like, don't get me wrong, the human aspects of it is going to hurt, like, because you are having a human experience. Remember that you're having this human experience. But remember, you don't like disappear and you're never going to be here. You're just transitioning to a higher state. So sometimes you can look at the transition state as even a blessing, right? And in ancient times, they celebrated death or the transition state because essentially they knew that it wasn't you dying, it was you getting out of this physical trap, if you will. One of the things that kind of moves me when it comes to relationships is the aspect of like what you're saying, babe, that open-mindedness thing, right? But you got to be careful.
Mm.
Some boys that'll play to their ego
Mm.
and say you crazy little bit. So they'll sit there and talk to you and pander you and say, "Oh yeah, really? Oh okay, wow, chakras, huh? Kundalini energy. Okay, I like that. Yeah." And sure enough, in their head, in their mind, they're thinking, "Boy, this girl crazy in the bed. This dude crap. There's something wrong with him." Right? And the only reason why they're doing that is because they're not confrontational. So they don't have no confrontational bone in their body. So they just gonna let you think whatever you think, but in their mind, they're really thinking you crazy.
Yep.
So now all my people that said they're in relationships and things of that nature with people that are on another side, the ability to decipher is
genuine curiosity.
That's a great ability to decipher. But put them to the test, take them through a spiritual practice, take them through a ritual, and just see where their heart is at. If they're what, you know what I'm saying? Because even in the aspect of not being able to understand it completely, you still should be able to respect it. And if this is your partner, this is somebody you're married to, this is somebody you're in a union with, this is somebody you're making love to, then that love should be able to transfer to you trying. Because best believe they're going to ask you to go to church.
That's true. They're
going to ask you to go to church. They're going to ask you to, what else do these church people ask you to do?
Definitely pray together.
Oh my God. They're going to ask you to pray together. I forgot about that.
Definitely pray.
They're going to ask you to read the Bible, maybe. They're going to ask you to, what else are they going to ask you? Listen to this Christian jam that Mary just put out again. Another what Kirk Franklin just put out. You heard that? They're going to ask you to watch that. What was the thing on Sunday? On 102? Reverend, I forgot. Don't worry. We
that can be challenging. I remember when we first got together, I tried to get you to do some sort of ritual or practice. You was not trying to do it. It took you a while to get on board with certain things.
I think I was just more so in my mind, like, all right, what am I doing? Like, am I really, dealing with somebody that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't really understand really at the time, right? I'm kind of like trying to figure it out, trying to understand what's going on with us, in between us, right? Because, I was more so a mind person, not really in that space of like, okay, let's do this, do that, right? And, that was a thing. That was a challenging aspect of understanding, okay, how far are we willing to go? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. That can be challenging when you think about doing rituals with a person, because you're, it just depends on where you are in your relationship, but you are really creating an energetic cord, and that can be kind of scary for people, right? To connect in an energetic way. But when you look at it from a religious perspective, you're doing rituals all the time. When you are drinking the blood of Jesus and breaking bread together, that is a ritual. When you are even the saying where 2 or 3 are gathered, so is he. That is basically a ritual. You're coming together with a joint vision or a joint goal or a joint desire or prayer that you want to manifest or that you want to bring forward. And that's, it can be a challenge. The main core beliefs are some I like to dabble in crystals. He calls it demonic. He made me throw them away.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's another level.
Yeah, that's another level. Now, if you actually...
And are y'all married or dating, or how long have y'all been together? I would really want to know that, Ashley, if you can share.
And that is a thing where, you know what I'm saying, you got to look at them kind of sideways, like, damn, you can't even fuck with these crystals or just rocks. You feel me? Now, if you start asking them to do some blood work and shit like that, like, hey, let's transfer blood, then you got to look at your mate and be like, hold on now, I just met you, D-Ray.
And you know what? This was so crazy. My first time actually kind of engaging with a crystal, but not really. Your friend, this was so goofy. And I'm like, do not do this. Spiritual men out there who are trying to date girls or trying to get to know girls, like, don't do this because it's kind of like weird. Your friend, we're going to call him B. He has some crystals. Me and my homegirl came to your house. Me and Victoria came to your house. And he basically was like trying to gift her a crystal. Yeah, I want to gift you this amethyst crystal because this. Like, sir, what are we doing here? This girl don't know nothing about no crystals. Why are you trying to give her a crystal like as a sweet gesture? If you are both already into that, that is one thing. But if this girl don't know nothing about crystals and you trying to gift her a crystal.
Well, it wasn't like that. I think.
Yes, it was definitely like that.
No,
he was trying to holler.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Me and B was kind of like, the crystal wasn't really, it was just like, hey, look, check this out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, I don't know. We just was different.
He was trying to use the crystal as a way to get with her.
I get that, but it was but he wasn't like, the crystal was like, hey, because I think B had mentioned something. So we just thinking like, okay, let's give her this crystal.
Don't know nothing about no crystals.
I know
and still don't know nothing about no crystals today.
Well, that's the crazy thing because we're like, hey, try this. You see what I'm saying? And maybe
you don't
it will.
Somebody a crystal that you've been holding on to that you probably got from another girl who you was probably,
me and B, the crystals was more
girls. He had multiple girls.
Right, but the crystals wasn't more so like, I think he was just trying to be observant of her energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Spiritual
by giving her a crystal. That's what I'm saying.
But there's multiple crystals though in the world. Like it's not like you just, hey, try this.
You don't give somebody a crystal that's not on the same frequency as you.
I know, but
that's not on the same belief or practice as you.
Like who said that? Like Ashley just said, crystals is demonic. You're not thinking
many
crystals
religious people believe that crystals.
Who knows that? That doesn't even sound right to me.
People who are heavily ingrained in religion believe that crystals are.
I know. You start finding that out when you start being like, oh, my bad, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, oh, this was demonic. Oh shit, my bad, I didn't realize. You know what I mean?
Ashley says they are engaged. She says they are engaged, high school sweethearts with a 3-year-old. Wow. That it seems like y'all have been in it for a while, many, many years. Maybe your new spirituality is definitely going to take some time for you, first of all, to get fully ingrained in your system, because when you come out of a religious belief system, you're still trying to figure out what matters to you. You're still trying to figure out what is your new truth. What is your new belief when it comes down to the spirit, when it comes down to God, right? You're still trying to figure that out. And so as you are in that process, Ashley, I would say keep a lot of these things to yourself. Because one thing about religious people, as you are in that process of trying to understand this new path, this new way of life deeper, they are going to be looking for any inconsistencies, discrepancies, things that don't make sense. And so you don't want to be presenting with those things without you first being fully convicted into how that thing serves you. So for you to even say he made you throw them away, that to me says that there was something inside of you that still wasn't all the way understanding of how these crystals serve you. Because if you were, you would be like, okay, this is how it serves me. This is how I know it's not demonic. This is how it's supporting me, da 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 da. But if you're not convicted in that just yet, then it's easier to be like, all right, you know what? Forget about it. I'll throw it away just to kind of end the argument, just to end the discussion. So as you're going through this process, it's really about getting grounded within yourself. And so for anybody who is in this, one of the major things that helped me on my spiritual journey to not get into back and forths with people that I love is meditation. Literally, I had to meditate. The more I meditated, the more I connected with God, the more my gifts and my intuitive powers came online. And the more I was able to be grounded in my beliefs, grounded in what I know, grounded in my experiences. So I no longer felt like I had to get you to believe it. I no longer had to change your mind about whatever it is I'm dealing with. It just is what it is, right? It just is what it is. This is who I am. This is how I show up. And I think once you get there within yourself, it's easier to be in relationship with somebody who has a different spiritual belief than you.
You know, it's so interesting. Like, damn, that crystal thing that fucked me up, because that is a wild thing. I'm a person that observe and try to understand people's point of view, but like literally rocks is fucking niggas up. That's fucking fire, nigga. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it in the grand scheme, just like that yoga thing. Like, nigga, I'm stretching. What are we talking? You see what I'm saying? Like,
and I think a lot of religious people don't really know why something is demonic. What makes it demonic? What makes it low vibrational? What makes this thing wrong? They don't really know. They just know what other people, right? They just know what other people are saying, what the pastor said, what these other religiosity, dogmatic people have said. They don't really know for themselves. And that's why it's so important in our spiritual journeys to become convicted in what we believe and what we know and what, you know.
Right. Now, if somebody tells you to do a blood ritual, then, hey, look now, I don't know you like that. Now, look, that blood, that Jesus blood, let's hold off on that. That's a whole nother level. Michelle said, I went from Christian to spirituality. Once church couldn't answer my questions, I searched and I was able to find my answers through spirituality. Absolutely. That's where it's at. I mean, once you do search, that's the key word, search, and kind of look and see and just understand for yourself. Essentially, what starts to happen is you start to unlock and unfold and unravel ancient knowledge and ancient understandings that's just been regurgitated through this religion system. So spirituality is first, and then they just created religious systems to control people. So, you know what I'm saying? If you can smoke a bag of that, then you can kind of break free of the religious binding. But if you can't, then essentially you just got to do more research.
Yeah, that's what it really boils down to. It really boils down to really having discernment. That's something that we're taught in religion, right? In Christianity, you're taught to discern. You're taught to be able to test the spirit. You're taught to be able to understand what it is you are dealing with. And I think that's a major test to our ability to stand firm in ourselves and our spiritual practices. It's what has your experience taught you? What has your experience showed you? What have you learned through your lived experience, through your spiritual practices?
Absolutely. Yeah, family. So one of the aspects of being in a relationship with a person that has a different spiritual or even a religious system is to be open-minded. Got to be open-minded, and it has to be respect there. If there's no respect there, then run. Because again, they want you to respect their masses belief, Christianity, religion. They have to be able to do the same if they actually have love for you, right? To be able to just understand, right? It don't mean they have to necessarily gravitate towards it or move into it, but they have to be able to have an open mind to listen, right? Have an open mind to hear a perspective and to try different things. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the invisible and these talks that y'all might have could take y'all to other levels of love. And if you're not able to have that talk, right, with a person, like i.e. sex magic, right, i.e.
You be jumping way
mantras.
off. You jump into sex magic.
No, I'm saying sex magic.
A person that is in Christianity don't want to hear no words or no sex magic.
That's crazy though.
They don't want to hear nothing like that.
No, but that's what I'm trying. No, but like sex magic is about us conjoining. So when they're having sex,
no religious person.
Wait, babe, hold on. But that doesn't make any sense because, like, when you're having sex with somebody, right? Why wouldn't y'all say, okay, let's visualize a certain thought and see what comes forward? So the sex is actually something evil to them or whatever, right?
Especially if you're not married. So we know that's number one.
If you're not married,
if you're not married, you already are feeling conflicted and, like Michelle said, contradicted. That's the thing that I'm confused about your brother and his super religiosity, because him and the woman that he's been with for years, living together, know they consummating and conjugating and doing all the things, but they are not married. So that's one of the things about religion and a lot of Christians is that you'll stand so empathically, so convicted on your beliefs, but so many aspects of your life don't really align with it. And that's not me judging, that's just me observing, right? So I will tell you from my own, they're gonna be together. How long they done been together? Many years now. Many years now. You telling me these two grown adults been living together, ain't having sex?
No, I get it. Of course
they are.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you are in a relationship with a person that is heavily into their religion, especially Christianity, you have to be very intentional with how you talk about certain things. You just have to, because if you say something like sex magic, that's automatically like, whoa, sex magic? That sounds evil. I saw a girl post something online the other day talking about sex magic, talking about using a man's semen, and she puts it on her altar and she gets to manifest so much from it. This is her own life. So many men and women were all in the comments talking about, see, that's why you can't just be with everybody. These women out here doing all types of witchcraft and all of that. So what you say, and I'm just saying this for people who are in relationships, you cannot say something like a sex magic. You cannot say something like, let's do a ritual. That's going to be an automatic turnoff. Those are like trigger words to a person that is ingrained in religion. You have to be able to communicate these ideas in ways that they can understand. So you may want to talk about something like, sex is just so powerful. Let's try visualizing something positive that we want God to do and bring in our lives while we do it. You got to say stuff like that. You got to put it in that way. You know what I mean? When it comes down to these crystals, you can't say, this crystal is a crystal of love, or this is going to help bring this into my life, because all of that to them looks like you are idolatry, right? Or that you're giving God's power to something outside of God. So there's a way that you have to communicate.
Yeah.
And you have to have enough. If you want a relationship with a person that is in religion to work, you are definitely, and I know that probably sucks to have to be so strategic in how you communicate things, but that's what you have to do. And then allow the experiences with these things to kind of soothe their egos, right? Allow these positive experiences to kind of help them want to know more, right? To help them to become curious. But if you're using certain words, you can forget about it. And I'm saying this from experience of having what?
Okay.
I'm saying this from having experience with friends. Most of my best friends are all Christian women, right? And there's a certain way that I talk to them about spiritual things, right? There's a certain way that I communicate with them so that I don't automatically say something that turns them off in their minds and they no longer can receive what it is I'm trying to communicate. That is super important when dealing with people that are in religion. Let's see what you said here. Too many Christians pick and choose what part of the Bible they'll abide by, but will say it's 100% true in the same sentence. Exactly. And that's one of the very challenging things about connecting with a person who is really deep into religion or Christianity, right? Like they don't even have the capacity to stand by every single word of this book. Oh, that was fast. You kind of bust in there, kind of. Yeah, you did bust in, very much so. So yeah, that's some of the challenges. But I think if you want your relationship to work and you are a spiritual person, you will do these things. And you'll realize that it's actually not that difficult to be in relationship with somebody that is heavy into religion. Like I said, most of my best friends are deep into religion. In some way, somehow, we still love each other. We connect on a very divine, sacred way. Like, been friends for years and years and years and years and years. They even came to, I had 3 of my college best friends, been friends with them now for, 14 years. They came to one of my events that was very much so spiritual. I had them laying in the grass, grounding, meditating, writing affirmations, speaking life into what it is that they want to manifest. And at the end of that experience, all of them were changed for the better, for good, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, right? They were like, I didn't even know that I needed this. I didn't even know that this was something that was really going to change me in the ways that it did. And that was just one of those experiences where I was like, everybody is really looking for the same thing. Everybody wants love, respect, connection. Everybody is looking for that. Everybody's just trying to get it in the ways that they can get it. And so, yeah, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to be open-minded, if you're willing to be communicative, it can work.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember the first time you cooked me a meal and it was spaghetti. and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, oh wow, babe, you made the spaghetti kind of looks really red. And I'm looking at the spaghetti like, okay. And you're like, hey, I just wanted to use real communicative, use real, in your bag. And like, spaghetti. I really want you to try this. I can't wait until you try this. And I'm sitting here like, well, I know she didn't put.
I've never been that type of girl, ever.
So
I've never even done a reading on you before.
Ooh.
I've never even.
But you tried to do rituals with me.
I've never even, and I am an oracle reader, right? Like I can get a message. I've never even pulled out some cards and said, "Tell me what I need to know about dream walks." And maybe that's something that I should have done. Maybe people do, Women do readings on their partners for sure to try to get some information or insight. I never did that. I've never done a reading on you. And never have done a ritual on you in no way, shape, or form. I don't believe in that. And I say that to the ladies out here. Like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do rituals to try to gain someone's love. Like,
just
don't do it.
Leave that spaghetti alone.
Like, are women really doing that? Y'all let me know in the comments, because I don't know any women that are really doing those types of things.
What was that movie? Obsession.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, why would anybody want to do that?
Ever since I ate that damn spaghetti, been possessed ever since.
You gotta chill. You gotta chill.
I'm talking about what? Ever since I ate that spaghetti, 4 kids later, still obsession. Neck gain. Crazy.
I don't know where the obsession came from, but it definitely didn't come from no ritual.
Neck hurting now.
Definitely didn't come from no ritual.
No, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. We
yes, there are women who do that. Wow. Why?
Well, it's how it's.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I
mean,
why.
I don't understand. Like,
why.
You want somebody to love for you, not because you put that voodoo on them or whatever. Yeah, family, we love and appreciate y'all. Love and appreciate y'all. We're gonna keep on pulling these up. Dreams and Desires, episode 2. Be on the lookout for episode 3. Love and appreciate y'all, family. Peace to the gods.